welcome to Cover Judgers The Hits, episode 12 for the month of April 2016. And this month we saw
Miss Winchester cast in the sequel to Old Boy.
Black and Yellow Lightning Fart, Wiz Khalifa approved.
Rorschach eats a magic carpet.
Welcome to the hits! First off, we're going to do our hits and misses. At the end of our last episode, we predicted something that we thought was going to be great in April, and now we're just going to tell you how that panned out for us.
Last month, I chose
Black Panther #1.
the first issue of Black Panther, and I wrote a good review on it, a good review of it on our website if you want to check it out, but we'll also be talking about it a little later. So,
I predicted that
The Fix.
The Fix, #1, was going to be a banger and a half, and that too is a first issue. So we're going to talk about it in our favorite first, which this month is What are you excited about?
I predicted BPRD 140, which brings back Ashley Strode. It was awesome. Chase scene that left you wanting more at the end, so can't wait for 141.
Finally, 141's out.
There. Oh hey, favorite cover. My favorite cover is Doctor Strange #7. This is Last Days of Magic Part 2. Chris Bacalo and Tim Townsend on the cover. Tim Townsend does the colors. We've Lord Imperator of the Empirical with Doc's cape in his mouth. Pretty perfect. The black and white of the Empirical representing science is pretty rad as well. Not sure if y'all picked up on that. His face is a mess on this cover and I love it.
Favorite firsts. This month was quite a doozy. It was the beginning of quarter 2 in the comic industry. And there are so many favorite firsts that, guys,
I think we need big cups.
oh my god, I think we need big cups. Let me introduce, coming back for round 2 from last month, our favorite foreign correspondent, John Eckerson.
All the way from Ann Arbor.
He's here.
In the
Oh my
flesh. In the very flesh.
gosh. Were the M&Ms all blue?
No
Yeah.
brown ones, they got picked out. So
Good.
we can keep going probably.
April saw a lot of first issues and a lot of quality first issues. We like to run them down and let you know if they're accessible and whether we like them and if we'll continue with issue 2. I'm going to kick it off. Black Panther from Marvel. Wakanda's falling apart and T'Challa has to fix it in Black Panther's first ongoing series in years. I really loved it. I thought it focused well on multiple characters that should set up interesting conflicts down the road. And I think Ta-Nehisi Coates, a first-time comic book writer, has really understood what makes just storytelling interesting. So I'm really looking forward to issues to come. What about you guys?
I gave it a pretty mixed review. I really wanted it to be an origin story, and I really wanted this to be like the first presentation of Black Panther to me, who knows little about the character. There's none of that, and you just jump right into a very heated scenario, which it was engaging, but it wasn't what I wanted. My expectations were different than the delivery, and that kind of yeah.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
From a lot of different angles. There were some very cool parts, but it's almost not like a first issue because it's like throws you in the middle of something, and you're just gonna have to see where it goes.
Rough Riders from Aftershock Comics. Steampunk Teddy Roosevelt collects a team of historical weirdos. Is it accessible? It is a first issue. It would help if you knew anything about American history and who these historical characters are.
Would it be better if you didn't?
Maybe, since they are all very much exaggerated and turned into superheroes.
I was thinking.
The ray guns again.
Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt is running around saving people's lives with steampunk ray guns. It's a weird one, along the lines of like his Manifest Destiny, where Lewis and Clark are out battling centaurs and stuff. I thought it was awesome. I'm going to keep reading it. I'm really excited about the next issue. What'd you guys think?
I would not read it any
Why?
further.
Why?
I would probably just reread League of
What if
Extraordinary
Alan
Gentlemen,
Moore wrote it?
honestly.
I like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, so I think I'll probably like this book a lot. So.
Miss Fury. This is from Dynamite. Corinne Betchko and Jonathan Lau. We love Corinne Betchko. I do anyway. While the men are at war, one lady has to stay back to protect the homeland. It's Agent Carter-ish, but she's a badass. Like, much more aggressive, much more just gonna get shit done. Plus, she wears an awesome suit that's akin to Catwoman.
Can you jump right in?
You can jump right in, and you should get it. And I'm gonna read issue 2.
I was a little bit more lukewarm on it. I liked the style and the era of the book. I think they got that concept down right, but I didn't like the character too much, and I don't think I'll keep reading.
Gotta love that Tula Lote cover though. Just saying.
Next, The Fix from Image. Buddy cops turn bad and have to sneak by pretzels. The Drug Beagle. Is it accessible? Strangely, it's not, if only because it's so long. It's kind of a slog of a read. And would I keep reading? Probably not. It kind of had like a Miami Vice / Tarantino vibe, which
It was kind of
sort
douchey Miami Vice.
Yeah, it just grates me the wrong way, where I just didn't really care.
I do agree that it was too long, and there were parts of it that just like it seemed tacked on and unnecessary.
I thought they fit like 3 issues worth of story in here. Like they introduced 3 separate backstories, and it was really, really long. I thought it almost felt like the first episode in a TV show, like almost like Terriers or something. I liked it. I liked the tone of it, and I thought the humor was good throughout, but it was just really long and a little too douchey. But I think I'll keep reading it for that reason.
I'm definitely going to keep reading it, but I do think another first issue we're going to talk about later jammed 3 issues of comic into one a lot better.
Next on the docket, we have Moon Knight, the next iteration from Marvel. Mark Spector has officially lost it. In this, it's halfway accessible. I'm going to actually lean on the not accessible part because it does use a previous run to set up the character. I really liked it. I loved the previous run, and I think this fits in about like probably about like 75% of that previous run. But it was really good. I'll keep reading.
I'm definitely going to keep reading. This had some of the best panel work I've seen in a comic lately. That was the shining star for me.
Next we've got Black Road. This is Image Comics, Brian Wood, Gary Brown. It's the Northlander guys. A sellsword is hired to lead a priest down a dark path.
Or a black road.
Or a black road. Get it? This is a good one. This is as strong or stronger than Northlanders. It's if you love that series, you're gonna love this. It gives a great snippet of exactly what the culture is right now, and his task, his ominous task of getting this priest down the Black Road.
Do I have to have read Northlanders to
Nope,
jump in?
not at all, which is cool.
That is cool.
I mean, if you read Northlanders at all, you're jonesing for this because there hasn't been anything like it since, and it's all Vikings and good stuff.
You look like a guy who likes Vikings.
Norwegian shit.
I'm a really big Brian Wood fan, so it was kind of like predestined that I would like this book.
Brian Wood, bro.
But I think my favorite part of it is just how well the main character falls between these 2 rival factions that are fighting for the fate of this country. You have the like pagans versus the Christians, and this Brute is kind of open to either side, and he kind of wants to know more about who these Christians are, and that's kind of why he leads this priest down the road, even though it's most likely going to lead to one of their deaths. And it'll be interesting how they flesh out that conflict, and I'm looking forward to that specifically.
For sure.
Up next, Poe Dameron by Marvel. General Organa tasks Poe with getting a team together and doing some special ops. Is it accessible? You would have to have seen the most recent Star Wars movie in order to get into it.
The Force Awakens.
But if you hadn't seen it, it's unclear why you would have purchased this comic book in the first place.
True.
So that being said, yeah, it's really accessible. Even if you're someone that's not a Star Wars geek, like I'm not. And I thought it was a lot of fun. I would definitely keep reading. It left off at a really nice cliffhanger that I appreciated.
Mm-hmm. I really liked the Poe-isms. We know so little about Poe, but he seemed like the friendly, everyman, sort of like, hey, everything's cool kind of dude. Like, that's how he would handle a situation. And it was just, it was fun, easy, and Phil Noto, I don't know if everybody read CHEWBACCA. Not the best book, but the art is really cool. I think it's like a weird, caricature-y, cartoony realism look at the Star Wars universe, which is nice.
I think the art was a little uncanny for me, but otherwise
I can see that.
Poe is my favorite character from Force Awakens, and so it's great to just see him off on his own with the Black Squadron.
The Black Squadron!
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it too. A little bit more tempered than you guys, but the writers did have very little to go off of. I think they probably just used Oscar Isaac and made a character that he would excel at.
Which is fine.
I would love a Poe Dameron movie just solo. That'd be great. House of Penance from Dark Horse. An intimate look at the making of the Winchester House and the madness that exists within. Is it accessible? Absolutely. This is a brand new story, no previous work that it's building on. It is using the real story of the Winchester House in California and the history behind that. I listened to a podcast recently about it and was really turned on, so picking up this book I was really excited, and it's one of the best horror comics out there right now. Yeah, the art by Ian Bertram. He did a book that I really liked called Bowery Boys. That's the first time I saw him most recently. And this book just picks up right where that one leaves off. I love his human drawing, his body design, I guess, is just really intriguing and very different. And it adds to the eerie feeling of this book.
C-3PO. A one-shot from Marvel, an existential look at human-droid relations.
Oh, that was pretty good.
That was actually pretty good.
It was pretty good, wasn't it? Anyway,
Be a little more
not the book,
effete.
but
is it accessible? Watch Star Wars, and like I said, this is a one-shot. It's by James Robinson, who wrote AIRBOY, one of my favorite comics from last year, and what I thought was going to be an annoying romp in the world of droids turned into this very existential human versus droids discussion between droids. There's talking about how they're programmed to follow different people and how they're programmed in the likeness of humans but completely unlike it. And in the end, you get a little origin story for why his arm is red in The Force Awakens. I loved it.
Did he lose his arm somewhere?
Yeah.
Wow.
Duh. What the hell else would happen? Yeah, he loses his arm and he gets a new arm. Oh my
now we
god.
know. I'm gonna pose the counterpoint to that. I thought it was fine, but what I didn't like about it, their gang of droids, the way they get picked off one by one was just not interesting. It was like there was no thought put into like how this progression happens, where they get whittled down to just C-3PO and this other droid. And I thought the end was just a little too pat and too easy, and it seemed a little like it seems like I've seen this story before, where two warring individuals come to some sort of consensus, and you learn a lesson about humanity in the end. It didn't do more than that for me, and that's why I didn't enjoy it too much. And obviously listening to C-3PO in your head for
As
60
someone,
pages
as someone
is
who
too much.
physically can't like read the speech bubbles without hearing
Yeah.
C3's voice, I could not
That's
finish
gonna be
it.
everybody,
It was
though.
so
That's-
painful.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
It was okay. I feel like if you are a huge Star Wars fan, you'll probably love it.
And I think we've given C-3PO way too much time.
Yeah.
Next we have my favorite throbbing member, Heartthrob, by Oni Press. It's a 70s heart transplant patient follows her new heart. Basically, the patient gets a heart transplant and starts seeing images of the man that donated the heart. Becomes romantically involved with this man, who happens to be a heist
Master
thief, and it ends with, you know.
You know, we complain a lot about character development, and this one almost had too much.
Yeah,
It was like an entire issue about this woman's life that at the beginning I was like, oh yeah, like they're going deep in this, like deep cuts, this lady's life, and then you're like 20 pages in, you're like, oh my god, they're still just crying about this lady's life and how horrible it is. And she's like a drunk, smoking mess that gets a heart transplant and just doesn't seem to care. I don't
Also,
know.
entire pages go without dialogue and just like first-person narration over the top,
yeah.
and that's just
Or, yeah, it's...
it makes it more of a slog and less.
It's also
less
really,
interesting.
really disappointing because we were so excited about this because of the artist.
Yeah.
And when you give the artist, she's at a bar, staring at a wall, thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like untapped potential.
Yeah, I just feel like good comics specifically, because of their serial nature, like a good progression of a story, you'll get bits and pieces, or you'll get a whole issue dedicated to the backstory of this character, or you'll learn more and more about this character as you go along. This one really just tries to throw it all at you in the first issue, gets you to the heist part of her story, which seems like the conceit, and then they built around that. It just...
Just stereotypical.
Just no
it's like
progression.
we've seen this movie, or I don't know. It was just,
And yeah, the main character wasn't likable enough,
Mm-hmm.
and the main character or the vision she sees of this heart donor, neither of them were likable enough.
I'm pretty down with destroying insurance agencies and all their corruptness, but
It just felt a little bit too much like sex criminals to me.
Yeah, it did. It seemed a lot like that.
All right, up next, Jackpot by Aftershock, an Ocean's 11 style heist
On the high seas.
on the high seas. Is it accessible? It's extremely accessible. It's a lot of fun the way the characters are introduced.
I really liked that part.
Would I keep reading? Maybe. It's hard to
Yeah.
say. It's a really, really good heist story, and then right in the last 2 or 3 panels, it kind of gives itself away as to being a much larger, more interesting story.
Yeah.
Which is actually, I think, less interesting than just the generic heist story itself.
They pan out a little too far in this one and give
Yeah.
like a dark counsel, who should we be watching sort of thing. And yeah, I'm with you.
The fun heist was great. It
The
was
fun
awesome.
heist was great.
Yeah.
The characters were all different and fun, and I would totally watch them do another heist.
Exactly.
But do I care about this dark counsel? No, not so much.
I feel like I'm a downer this month. I don't know.
Hey man,
you're fine.
You're allowed to be.
I didn't really like it. I didn't like...
What's place
Even
is
the
a dark
heist,
counsel?
I didn't necessarily enjoy. I don't know if it was the art. I didn't really dig that much, or if it was just, I don't know. I just didn't. It didn't rub me the right way. And then the end was, you know, another downer. So, Department H from Dark Horse, and this is by my man Matt Kent. So it's another book that I'm very predisposed to like. It is very accessible. It's the first issue of a new story, and it is an underwater murder mystery. Every single character involved in this story is introduced in the first issue, which I really enjoyed. I thought every Matt Kent book that he takes the art for, I really enjoy. So it's not for everyone, but I really like the watercolor aspect of it. And I really just felt like I could feel the claustrophobia of this submarine, marine base that they're on.
Charlene Kent gets credit for the watercolors.
Yes.
Yes, because I've read My Management to a point, not finished it, but I do not care for Matt Kent's art style in general, but Charlene Kent's watercolor work really drove this home and just elevated this far above all of the Matt Kent artwork I've ever seen and made this like one of the best books I've read in a while.
Straight black.
Out of the 20 titles that you gave
I
me,
like the sketch quality.
I thought, I mean, this was far and away the best for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I even gave it to Audrey so she could read it, and she was just blown away by it. Even like the paper stock itself. I mean,
Yeah,
everything
it's-
about it,
oh,
it's just,
yeah.
it's just gorgeous.
It's a Matt Kent,
Yeah.
Matt Kent style. Compared to Mind Management, it's much more straightforward. Mind Management was this epic story with different layers built on each other, and you could dive really deep into little aspects of it. This one is definitely a straightforward murder mystery, but there aren't that many good murder mysteries in comics. I feel on.
No.
Like I feel like we know the end point, we know where it's going to finish, so I feel like it's in a good point, a good spot to succeed.
Mhm.
And I'm really looking forward to anything Matt Kent writes, but this one specifically, really digging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joyride from Boom Studios. A plot to skip Spacetown goes into effect. I had very low expectations for this book. It's called Joyride. It's about space. I feel like space adventures are a dime a dozen at this point. What?
Space adventures are awesome.
They are.
Space adventures are awesome, but there's like so many coming out. This is the first of a 4-part limited run, and I had a blast reading it. What I liked most about this book was the pacing. I feel that a lot of authors, you got your Warren Ellis's, you got your Brian K. Vaughns, you got your, even like Brian Wood, Jeff Lemire sometimes, they feel that they can like make everything breathe, they're gonna stretch everything out, and Warren Ellis feels like you don't need to know what a book is about until issue 13, right? That's a year after you started reading that book. That's dumb.
It's valid.
This book jumps right in, takes you on a quick adventure, and
4-part series though.
it fits like 3 issues into one issue
And
in a good way.
compared to the other 2 books that we've come down negatively about that,
Mm-hmm.
you.
Oh, I think this is the best way to do it. They're on an adventure. It's like, hey, we're going on this thing. Come on, Colby, let's go. We did it. And the pace of it was what sold it for me.
What did you not like about it, Colby?
I agree with the pacing and everything. However, there was a little bit of teeny speak.
Tonally, it was kind of like spoiled rich space kids.
Yeah.
Like, that's like really hard to
Definitely.
identify with. You know what I mean? Just like space
Yeah,
rich
no, I
vibes.
feel that.
Like it's like
Definitely.
Ferris Bueller in space is like not something I
feel
really
like-
need.
A lot of writers, when they try and write a different demographic than themselves, a lot of times it comes off as forced.
And I felt that this one was all right in a tune with like Batgirl.
I didn't think it was forced. It's just I'm 43.
42 and what?
I'm 43 in 1 month,
11
and
twelfths.
this was like listening to a teenager talk.
You don't look a day over 40.
Thank you. Next up, we have Divinity 2, which Divinity 1 was fantastic. This is Valiant. A second cosmonaut returns, and this time she's a true communist.
I think that was a really
How'd you like it, Colby?
I
Or how accessible is it?
thought it was extremely accessible. You could definitely read Divinity 1 and know that another cosmonaut has come to Earth, but I feel like
Well, we have a case study right here at this table.
Yeah,
I actually
let's
had no
do
idea
it.
that there was a first Divinity. I didn't
Which
notice
is weird,
like
because the title has a 2 next to it.
I just assumed that was I thought it was Divinity 2. I knew that was the name.
But at the same
Divinity
hey,
I really had no idea. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was immediately accessible.
Which
It
is a hard
reminded
thing
me
to
a
do.
lot of like the Southern Reach Sprawl trilogy, which is really hot right now. Just this idea of like this like amorphous landscape that kind of turns you into this like
Mhm.
biological super being.
Yes.
And so like I just loved all of that, and all of the artwork was just absolutely incredible. Of this like farscape where they're like
Mhm.
someone's impaled and there's these weird like mushroom flowers growing. It was
Yeah.
just awesome. And then to bring it right back home to I mean, no spoilers, but it comes pretty close to home at the end.
Yeah.
And
It's now.
it was shocking, and that's actually another title I would like to keep reading. All right, last but not least, 4 kids walk into a bank from
Black Mask.
Black Mask.
Black Mask.
We could on
Studios.
all the publishers practically.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's good. This is certainly not least. A D&D squad gets criminal. Is it accessible? It's immediately accessible. It's so much fun to read.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, this is my favorite. This is my best book. We're going to talk about it more in a little bit.
Sure,
but
I think we all really liked it. Would I keep reading? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it was just fun. It was just fun from start to finish, and it was original. And I thought the artwork was original. I thought the dialogue was original. The story's original. It's all just. It's cool. It's just a really cool
It's
book, man.
super
Yeah,
cool.
it's just.
For being so inherently nerdy, it is super cool. It's a limited run. There's only going to be 5 issues, sort of akin to Matthew Rosenberg's previous title on Black Mask, We Can Never Go Home.
It was just a really, really fun issue. It really got the children characters pretty great, the teen characters. The art was really interesting. The colors that they used were really interesting. I like some of the frames were just hilarious. There's one frame where a guy gets hit in the face with a dodgeball, and the action lines just say jocks as he's getting hit in the face. It's really funny.
Yeah.
So that wraps it up for the first issues of April. He had, compared to last month, quite the number of bangers.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I mean, there's
7 really good first intros.
And 18 overall.
Yeah.
It was a crazy month, and that's why we're cutting out some of the fat, and we're just gonna favorite first it up.
Maybe we'll have John back next month for some more first issues.
Probably not.
It's been,
It can't be better. It can't be better than this one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Thanks for coming for the basically first issue Christmas.
I come for the Eskimos.
first issue.
I know.
Oh, I didn't see you there. Favorite cover. House of Penance #1, cover by Ian Bertram. We've talked about this comic a little bit already, but just this cover is crazy detailed. The background specifically is just a wonder to look through. It's kind of what really sold me. I'm a really huge fan of this guy's work. I just think it's very distinct. I didn't have to know that this guy wrote this book, and I was totally sold. The red on this cover is really stark and gripping, and it really portrays the tone and just dread of this book so well.
This is the cream of the crop. We pick our favorite books. It's not always easy to explain why these were our favorite books. Some of them are issues and issues in, hundreds of issues in, even with you especially, BPRD stuff. So we're gonna give ourselves 30 seconds
Make
to
it even
try.
more difficult.
Yeah, it wasn't difficult enough. Now it's even more difficult. We're gonna try and explain to you in 30 seconds why these were our favorite comics of the month.
Nick, what was your favorite book of April 2016?
My favorite book of April 2016 was 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. Art by Tyler Boss, lettering by Thomas Maurer, and written by Matthew Rosenberg. We've already talked about this in the favorite first issues, and it is very apparent that everybody liked it.
So you got 30 seconds to add some new insight, my boy.
I think I can handle it.
Whenever you're ready.
As far back as lunchtime, I always wanted to be a gangster. That is a great way to sum up the first of 5 chapters in this extraordinary book. D&D kids, crime, childhood. It hit every goddamn note that my big dumb heart wants to see in a comic book. It's written well, the art is interesting, and the crime story that's ensuing out of the D&D-ness is going to be fantastic.
Nicely done.
It's pretty good.
It was pretty good. I'm pretty proud, and yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Didn't even plan that one.
I planned it this morning, and that wasn't at all what I planned.
Alright.
We were
Yeah.
probably talked about every single
But-
thing to say.
But, Seth, what was yours? What was your favorite book of April 2016?
I'm gonna just let you guys into my introduction to this book this month. My favorite book of the month was The Last Contract from Boom Studios, written by Ed Brisson
10 seconds.
and art
I'm just
by
kidding.
Alessandro S. Thurin, colored by Nico Gugliardo. This was completely off my radar before this month. The final issue came out, and I decided to pick them all up, and it was a success. Great choice by me, if I do say so myself.
Seth wins for Seth.
I'm ready.
Okay, boy.
What does this book do so well in 4 issues? It's a gangster book. It's a revenge book. An old man roped back in. A common story. But what this book does so well is the characters are so great. The art is so stark. And this guy's pajamas. That's what got me. First cover, guys in pajamas the whole time. It was great.
You're done! That told me nothing about that book,
Great.
but
Guy in
I'm
pajamas.
very intrigued. I'm so intrigued now.
Well,
I want to borrow it.
Yeah, I already want
guys
to borrow
in.
it.
One of the funniest things in this book is all of the locations are like mentioned in each scene change, and it's set all throughout like Toronto area, and they use the weirdest, funniest Canadian names. It seems like for all these. all these sets.
happy.
Places I've never heard of. It was great.
Colby, what'd you read?
My favorite comic for April is Department H, which
What?
we've talked about a little bit.
We already
Just
talked
a
about
little
that.
bit.
So, coming up.
So we have Matt Kent, who wrote and penciled this one,
Mhm.
and his wife, Charlene Kent, did the watercolors.
In my opinion,
And-
much better watercolors.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's so
brilliant.
good.
It's
It's so
brilliant.
good.
Are we ready to start the clock, gentlemen?
We are.
When I heard Matt Kent was doing a run for Dark Horse, I was pretty much in. Then I found out it was a sci-fi deep sea mystery, and I said, "Oh hell yeah!" out loud, and immediately texted Seth, who, of course, knew all about it. This first issue is so good. It's like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Jacques Cousteau, a Wes Anderson flick, and you can't not reference The Abyss, all wrapped up in a murder mystery. Here's the rub though, most of the suspects are friends in the family, and you're stuck 6 miles below the surface until you figure it out. Good luck, Mia. I hope your brother didn't kill your father.
You're done! You're done.
Nailed it.
Did you get it all?
Yes. You did, except you said you're done when I said your father.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Today's your day. So when I went to hit this, I did this, and it like so okay.
It made it
reset.
smaller.
I went what? And then I did this, and then I finally started it, and so you got an extra 5 seconds, but that counts. Hey, if the refs can't start the clock on time, don't hit the game.
Don't hit the game.
Good luck, Mia.
Wait.
I hope your brother didn't kill your father. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
This book was really good. We've already talked about it like
It's so good.
too much, but it was really great.
Just to put a bow on this month, it was very hard to choose my favorite comic. I feel like I
Yeah.
could have chosen
Yeah.
6 or 7. All 3 of these books I would have easily chosen. House of Penance was great. Miss Marvel was great this month. So many good ones.
No, Colby, no!
Nobody's home, so I'm gonna eat a snack now. Snackity snack, snack. It's time for Nick Snacks. We're gonna eat a snack and I didn't see you there. Favorite cover?
Deadly Class, number 20 from Image Comics. This is a cover by Wes Craig, who does all the art in it. And oh man, just that cityscape turning into a lightning bolt and just zeroing in on Marcus, it catches the entire feel of the comic. There's a lot of dead space, which I really enjoy. We were talking about that last month with Hawkeye and Spider-Man, and we were discussing this is a graphic design sort of thing. That's what makes it so great is it just looks and fits a cover of a comic book so well.
It's so weird how the covers that aren't intricate are usually the ones that catch your eye, just because it's so distinct compared to lots of books. So much negative space. Some of my favorite covers, East and West covers, and like Shutter, their design for the covers just use negative space so well, and this is a good example of that.
And it's
What may the future hold?
To wrap this thing up, we are doing our forecast for May
2016.
2016. That's 2016. To wrap things up, we're doing our forecast for May 2016. Who wants to start?
I'll start. The comic book that I'm looking forward to most this month is Southern Bastards number 14. At the end of the first arc, we had a pretty big cliffhanger. We had a character die, but we also had the possibility of his daughter, Roberta Tubb, coming back. And she's probably some sort of badass that's going to whip this town, Craw County, into shape. And I'm really looking forward to the potential on this next issue for that.
I've never read a comic book like this. We get a very heartwarming story. Lose the main character, examine the villain, feel bad for said villain, then look into the nooks and crannies of the town it's set in, and now we're fucking back.
Yeah.
We're back, and Craw County's about to get rocked. I'm going to keep it safe and simple. Luther Strode, The Legacy of number 6 is coming out. Justin Jordan, Trad Moore.
End of the end, right?
This is it?
That's it.
Yeah.
This is the 18th issue, and it's done. This is it. Justin Jordan has said he's not doing it after this, and I cannot wait to see Luther Strode fight motherfucking Kane, the original murderer. The penultimate issue was my favorite issue last month, and this issue I really want to have the same heart and story and not just be a giant Tradmore fight scene, but I also would be okay if it was a Tradmore fight scene because I love watching it.
Tradmore kills him.
I'm going to call it right now. Luther Strode will not die.
Cool.
I don't think he'll die because this is the legacy of.
Maybe that means
Like
he will
his
then.
end.
Maybe that
I'm sorry, man. I'm
for his
just-
legacy.
Not on this day.
I'm just
Sorry,
preparing.
I just wanted to go out of the show.
Maybe
Say that.
for a legacy to exist, the person almost needs to die.
Yeah.
I guess I hadn't batted that around in my head, but yeah, now I'm terrified.
Last but certainly not least.
Speaking of penultimate issues, Hellboy in Hell number 9 comes out this week, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, this Wednesday.
This week.
Tomorrow.
So you might know I'm a fan of Mignola, and you might know I'm
Who?
a fan of Hellboy. This is Mignola writing and drawing, and this is the second to last issue of Hellboy in real time. That's right, he's in hell, he's dead. There's only one more issue of this, then it goes to Hellboy's past. So I'm really looking forward to number 9, number 10, and then I will just cry in my sheets.
So that's it for episode 12 of The Heads. Get in touch with us through
I'm down with you
Twitter
cleaning my
at
sheets though.
CoverJudger. Our website is coverjudger.com.
Find us on Twitter at CoverJudger. There's no E at the end because it's 2016 and they're all taken.
And we're on Instagram at CoverJudge.
Yes. Thanks, guys. This has been, once again, the best month of comics ever. This probably was one of the best months of comics ever.
It was a good book